Embryo formation begins when sperm and egg meet. Eggs are produced by the ovary, whereas sperm are produced by the testes. Eggs are actually partially developed at birth. However, they don't reach maturity until puberty. Once they do, they will be released from the ovary once a month in a process called ovulation. Eggs are much bigger than sperm and contain an extracellular layer, cell membrane, cytoplasm, and nucleus. Sperm are made up of a head region, which contains enzymes as well as the genetic material, and a tail, which allows the sperm to swim. Connecting these two portions is a middle piece, which contains mitochondria to provide the sperm with the energy it needs to swim. Sperm development, or spermatogenesis, does not begin until puberty, but once it starts, it is a continuous process. A full cycle can take 64 days. However, once it's finished, up to 8 billion sperm may have been generated. After ovulation, the egg has 8 to 24 hours to be fertilized by the sperm, or else it will die. Eggs are located in the oviduct, which means the sperm has to swim through the entire length of the uterus to reach the oviduct and fertilize the egg. If they are able to do this, the nucleus of the sperm will fuse with the nucleus of the egg, after which the cell membrane of the egg will become impenetrable to prevent any other sperm from attempting to fertilize it. If the egg is not fertilized, it will die and be shed through a process called menstruation or a period. Before ovulation, the uterine wall is also built up and blood vessels are developed in anticipation for the implantation of a fertilized egg. If the egg is unfertilized, this becomes unnecessary and is shed along with the unfertilized egg. This results in the discharge of uterine tissue, blood, and the unfertilized egg during a period. This cycle, ovulation, and the development of the uterine wall are all controlled by hormones. Menstruation typically happens every 28 days. However, the timing can vary greatly, and menstruation is still considered normal if the period happens every 24 to 38 days. Because the timing of menstruation and ovulation can vary greatly, it can be difficult to tell when someone is fertile. Someone with a shorter menstruation cycle may ovulate closer to their period, while someone with a longer cycle may ovulate further away from their period. On top of this, sperm can survive inside the body for up to 7 days. This means if you have intercourse 7 days before ovulation, there is still a chance of getting pregnant. In fact, researchers suggest that having intercourse the day before ovulation carries the same chances of getting pregnant as having intercourse multiple times randomly throughout the menstrual cycle. We will now be viewing sperm and egg cells under the microscope. You are going to draw what you see and describe how the different parts contribute to successful reproduction. You also have a few additional questions to answer. First, we're going to look at the egg cell and discuss its structure from the outside in. The extracellular layer around the egg cell is responsible for a variety of different things. It helps the egg cell develop properly, provides protection, prevents more than one sperm from binding to the egg cell, and ensures successful implantation and development of the developing embryo. The cell membrane is what the sperm cell will bind to during fertilization. There are proteins on the cell membrane that ensure proper fusion between the two cells. Once fusion has occurred, the sperm will deposit its genetic material. Next is the cytoplasm, which contains yolk, which is an energy source for the developing embryo. And finally, at the center is the nucleus, where genetic information from the mother can be found and will be combined with the father's genetic information from the sperm. Now let's take a look at the sperm cell. The head contains the genetic material, as well as something called the acrosome, which contains enzymes to dissolve the extracellular membrane around the egg cell. Then we have the midpiece, connecting the head to the tail, where the mitochondria are found that produce energy. Remember, the sperm has to swim up to the egg, so it's essential that it has enough energy. Lastly is the tail, which is a flagella and literally means whip. It moves in a propeller-like coiled fashion. So again, draw these on your handout and describe how the different structures and parts of the cell contribute to reproduction. You will also have some additional questions to answer.